All right, everybody, welcome back to Sports Bash is live on 97.3 ESPN. And don't forget the MAAC Basketball Championships are coming back to Atlantic City's Boardwalk Hall. The 2022 Hercules Tire MAAC Basketball Championship, March 8th through the 12th. Visit boardwalkhall.com for tickets and info. One of the teams you'll see there, Quinnipiac, the Bobcats, are coached by Baker Dunleavy, a familiar name in our area. He is the head coach, and he is set to join me right now on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN. Coach, welcome to the show, and how's everything going?
Thanks. Yeah, everything's going well. We're building up here in college basketball. Football season's over, and all these conferences in college basketball are gearing up for their tournaments, and everybody hoping for that opportunity to win games to get themselves into the big dance. So it's a beautiful time of year. The weather's getting warmer, and postseason college basketball is coming up. So we're excited.
Yep. Well, a lot of people will remember you from your time at Villanova. You were on the staff that won that championship a couple of years ago. And then, of course, you get hired away to Quinnipiac to lead your own team now. So you've been there. This is your, fifth season with the Bobcats. And just kind of talk a little bit about your journey from, being on the bench with Jay Wright and then, of course, getting your opportunity to run your own team.
Yeah, Villanova is where I grew up and went to school and was lucky enough to coach with Coach Wright and learn so much. And I've taken so much of what he's taught me and tried to apply it to my program. And it has. Time has flown. It's been 5 years. It's been a full pandemic. And, there's been a lot to learn on the fly. But really excited to be able to lead this program. We've got a great thing going. We've got great kids and an amazing university. So happy to be here. Really excited about what the future holds here with our program, and certainly in the next couple of weeks here, getting down there to compete for a championship in Atlantic City.
Yeah, and obviously coaching's in your blood. Is it everything you kind of thought it was, kind of learning from Dad, and then, of course, your brother played, and now you're coaching? Is this kind of it seems like the game is kind of changing and, evolving right before our very eyes. Is this kind of what you envisioned as a coach?
In some ways, yes. It's the job that not only I watched my dad do growing up, but watching Coach Wright as his assistant and seeing how the job is done, certainly. But then there's an aspect to the job that you can't prepare for. The multitude of tasks and decisions that you have to make once you're in charge. So that's something I've learned a lot on the fly. I've had a great staff help me prepare day to day with that kind of stuff. And the basketball is fun. Basketball is great. It's our passion. We love it. But then the coaching is more about organization. It's about teaching. It's about creating discipline, but also, a level of togetherness. And those are things that, it's really feel-based. It's really experience-based. And to be honest, when I first got the job, there were things that I did have to learn on the fly. And hopefully I'm better at those things now. But coaching's a lot of fun. It's a different lifestyle. It's definitely a different type of job to have, but we definitely don't feel like we go into a normal workspace every day.
Coach, tell me, in your mind, when I talk about the Metro, what is Metro Atlantic basketball for our listeners who are thinking about going up there? What kind of basketball, when you night in and night out, are you coaching against?
I think it's one of the most hard-nosed, intense leagues in the country. So, if you come to the MAAC basketball tournament, first of all, it's an amazing experience because you can sit there and watch 2 to 3 good games in a row. And every game is going to be competitive. Every game is going to have a nail biter to end. That's just the way our league is. It's so competitive. The final scores are so close. And, there's a lot of parity in our league. And there's so much on the line at this point at the end of the year. And so the intensity for an already intense league is through the roof. I think it's great basketball to be able to watch. Like I said, consecutive games to be able to watch. Really, really great coaching and just a really competitive league. I don't think you'll come to the MAAC tournament and see too many blowouts.
You mentioned great coaching. The names in this league who have coached, there's such recognizable names night in and night out. And obviously your team right now, where do you see your team? We talked with Sheen Holloway last week, and, his team, St. Peter's, they're right at the top there. Obviously Patino's team is leading the way. Where do you see where your team is at 12-12 right now? Is your a team that, has still some more growing to do? Are you kind of hitting that spot? Where do you see your team in this league right now?
I think we're right in the middle. We're right in a huge middle. Certainly I think Iona and to a certain extent schools like St. Peter's have done a really good job kind of outpacing to this point of the season and establishing themselves. But really, like I said, every game is close. We have a huge competitive middle of the league vying for seeding. We're right there in the middle. We have 4 games left. If we have a great finish, we can catapult ourselves into kind of that top 4 or 5 range. So everybody's thinking the same way. There's not a 4 or 5 team bottom that isn't competing well. Like we just have a huge league of 11 teams where like everybody can beat anybody, and we all know it. So, we're right there. We've dropped a couple that we wish we could win. We just lost at Marist by 1 point at the buzzer, our last game. But, just trying to use those experiences to make us better and more battle tested as opposed to letting it, discourage us. And we got a great opportunity, like I said, here to finish strong, and we plan on doing that.
I asked Coach Holloway the same question. I'm interested in your answer, too, because this is an area that is, got a lot of college, high school basketball, which is in their playoffs right now, the league playoffs. What kind of kid is Quinnipiac looking at? I mean, there's a lot of kids in this area that, their parents might be listening. And what kind of kid are you targeting for your school and your program?
I think in general, we're looking at a kid who wants to develop themselves in every aspect. We're a really high-level academic institution here at Quinnipiac. So we want guys that want to get their degree first and foremost, but really want to be gym rats. And those two things take big priorities in their life. College is fun. It's a time to really find yourself as a young adult and experience a lot of fun. But the fun that we want our guys to be able to prioritize is the hard work academically, developing as a basketball player. So we want guys that really aspire to be players in college and beyond. And then in terms of as basketball players, guys that are versatile, guys that are well-rounded players as opposed to specialists. We pride ourselves on having guys that can do multiple things and that want to really work to address their weaknesses and be able to do multiple things as players. So well-rounded kids, kids who are appreciative and thankful for the opportunity, that want to come in and work hard and be coached. Much like I'm sure everybody says they're looking for, but I'm really proud of the way our guys have handled that. And kind of, we have a culture within our program of like-minded people.
You played in the Big East, and one of the conversations we had with Coach Holloway, who was at Seton Hall, we were just ripping names off. I mean, he loved it. He was just throwing names at me. You had like Warwick at Syracuse. Jeff Green was at Georgia. Kevin Pittsnoggle, he's like a popular name in college basketball lore, those West Virginia teams. Like the Big East names that get thrown around from the past is always a fun conversation.
That league was amazing, and then Shaw was a part of it. Not only the players that you played against, which are the most important factors to winning, but the coaches you would see. I mean, Coach Pitino was in that league. I mean, there was nowhere to hide in that league. Pittsburgh was a national power. I mean, they were top 5-10 year to year. Obviously, Syracuse in their prime. I mean, there was just really nowhere to hide. Even teams like Providence with Ryan Gomes, who was one of the best college players I saw while being there, player of the year in our league at Providence. I mean, just, Coach Beeline, what he did at West Virginia and got going with Mike Gansey, Kevin Pittsnoggle, and those guys, really, really cool. You would go to the Big East tournament, much like the MAAC tournament. You would go and just, hey, I know who the higher seeded team is, but I don't know who's going to win this game. And that's really what makes college basketball really fun this time of year.
We'll leave with this. Baker Dunleavy's the head coach at Quinnipiac. Your style, I know a couple of years ago, you guys are top 5 nationally in made three-pointers. Is that who you guys are? Do you want to get out, shoot the three, shoot a high volume of threes?
We do. I think every year your offensive and defensive personality is going to get tweaked a little bit by your personnel. We happen to have elite shooting across the board that year. We're still a really good 3-point shooting team. We're second in the MAAC in terms of offensive pace, in terms of how fast we play. One thing I'm proud of is the fact that we have unselfish players. And so on both ends of the floor, but certainly offensively, we're a team that's going to share the ball. And, we're top 2 in our league in both 3-pointers attempted, but also assisted field goals. So we want to make sure that, the ball movement and then, the open guy for us being the go-to guy is something that might be a little bit different than other teams who might have a go-to guy that takes 25, 30 shots a game. For us, we're pretty balanced, a lot of ball movement and a lot of sharing of the ball. It's just kind of the way we play with our group. Our center leads us in assists, which is pretty rare. The guy that really, and Kevin Marfo, that can really rebound the ball and get guys open and really distribute the ball. So I think we're a fun brand of basketball to watch. We need to turn that brand of basketball into a tough team to play against, and a team that's a hard out this time of year.
The tournament's coming March 8th through the 12th. Visit boardwalkhall.com for tickets. Baker Dunleavy is the head coach at Quinnipiac. The Bobcats will be one of the teams competing in the MAAC Basketball Championships. Coach, it's been great to catch up with you. We look forward to seeing your team perform at Boardwalk Hall, and we hope you enjoy Atlantic City.
All right, well, I appreciate you having me, and we look forward to getting down there. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Baker Dunleavy, everybody, the head coach at Quinnipiac, and, of course, the 2022 Hercules Tire MAAC Basketball Championship. They're heading to Atlantic City's Jim Whalen Boardwalk Hall. It's March 8th through the 12th, and you can visit boardwalkhall.com for tickets and info. We appreciate him. And, by the way, you remember Coach Dunleavy was on the staff at Villanova that won 4 straight Big East Conference regular season championship. Then they won the national championship. That was the team with, Jenkins, Brunson, Hart, Booth, DiVincenzo, Spellman was on that team. Pascal was on that team. So he was the coach alongside Jay Wright, and then he ends up getting hired by Quinnipiac, and he has been there since 2017, 2018. That was his first year there, and now he is in his 5th season with the Bobcats. Big names in the MAAC. You heard Sheen Holloway, who, of course, played at Seton Hall, was the Big East Freshman of the Year. Rick Pitino, who, of course, is at Iona. Baker Mayfield. Baker Dunleavy. I'm wondering how many times he gets that happen. Baker Dunleavy, whose father, of course, was Mike Dunleavy, coach of, the Clippers, the Bucks, among other teams. Then his brother was Mike Dunleavy Jr., who played at Duke, had a little cup of coffee. No, more than a cup of coffee, I guess. Played Golden State, played with the Pacers, Bucks, Bulls, Cavs, Hawks. But that is Baker Dunleavy. He is, of course, the head coach at Quinnipiac. So, good stuff from him. Good stuff at the Boardwalk Hall basketball tournament. It's the MAAC Basketball Champion, Boardwalk Hall, March 8th through the 12th. I am Mike Gill. This is the Sports Bash. This is 97.3 ESPN.